Hey everyone, Matt here from Docs Running, and today we're going to do a review of the top 5 best, most durable shoes. Now, durability is a big deal to me. I rip through shoes really quickly. For those of you that have been following us for a while, you'll know that I notoriously take outsoles off really quick. I rip all kinds of things off the shoe. I'm super hard on midsoles because I land so hard, and yet I typically have one of the lower injury rates of the team, which is interesting. But I just rip through shoes like crazy. And so durability is really important to me, and that's something that I report on because the other thing that I report on is things aren't getting any less expensive. We've got tariffs going on, we've got increased prices, we got all kinds of stuff. So when you're looking at a running shoe, when I want to go, which shoe am I also going to get the most bang for my buck out of? Like, what am I going to get the most miles out of? What's going to be worth my dollar? And that's really the point of today's review, is talking about not just why these 5 shoes are good, and every single one of these, I've gotten at least 100, if not more miles out of them and done a full review. So we're trying to figure out, hey, which of these are going to be most comfortable? What are things you can look for? But also, what should you be looking for when you get a shoe to go, hey, how can I start to predict whether this may be durable for me or it might not be? And we'll go through a couple of these things. So at the top of our list, we're going to start with the Brooks Glycerin Max. Now, this was a favorite of mine in 2024. I really enjoyed the ride. The fit was a little bit short, so I probably would suggest making sure you get the right size with that. Maybe go a half size if you're sensitive like I am. But the midsole was really good. It was surprisingly bouncy. My size 10's coming in pretty heavy. It's 11.1 ounces, or about 316 grams. It's a very tall stack height, 47 the heel, 41 the forefoot for a 6mm drop. DNA tuned midsole that for me felt really nice. It actually didn't feel that mushy. The heel's really bouncy and forefoot's a little bit firmer, and it just rolled very nicely. Probably one of the smoothest Brooks ride with a great heel bevel. But what I was surprised about, and I was going to talk about things that are supposed to make shoes more durable, and this is going to violate some of the rules, but generally what I look for is a full-length outsole coverage, and the Glycerin Max does not have that. But what it does have is some really intense rubber outsole material that grips and holds on very well. Again, I was really amazed because generally when you have a lot of exposed midsole here, you'll rip through that, and I didn't even tear through the midsole. So this DNA 2 material not only is nice and bouncy and it's not mushy, but it tends to hold up against abrasion really well. So you have a combination of that plus these really thick rubber pads that are holding in there very well, and by some miracle, you've got an insanely durable shoe. So it's been great option for me. I didn't tear through it. 110 miles, I believe, on my on this pair, which is a lot for me. And these are all my left shoes. So for those of you going, hey, are you going to show us the one that gets normally torn up the most? My left shoe is the one that gets torn up, and this is the Glycerin Max and doing absolutely fine. So one of my top, super tall Max trainers, if that's something you're interested in, done a really good job. The next one on our list fits a little bit more of the things that we talk about in terms of what improves durability. So this is the Asics Nimbus 27. This was also a favorite of mine and is a favorite of mine for 2025. I have 115 miles on this pair, and they're really good. It's Asics Premium Neutral Trainer, although it actually ends up being slightly stable, which worked really well for my mechanics. It is a beast of a shoe. It's not the lower stack. It used to be, it's increased, not lower stack, it's been higher stack for a while, but it goes up even a little bit more, coming in at 43.5 in the heel and 33.5 in the forefoot for an 8mm drop. My size 10 is coming in at 10.7 ounces. I have my stuff written, 304 grams. Sorry, I can't memorize all this stuff. So it's not the lightest shoe, but it's also not nearly as heavy as some of the other premium trainers out there, but also not as light. So it sits kind of nicely in the middle. The FF Blast Plus Eco has held up really well. The midsole has stayed fairly similar over these miles, hasn't broken down, has stayed kind of a little bit bouncy and a teeny bit firmer than previous models, and it's been really well and held up well. Upper's doing absolutely fine, no major wear, even despite it being a little bit lighter. The really big surprise is the outsole. So this is where we get a little bit more of what I'm talking about, where when I'm looking for an outsole, I want it to be full length. If there are patches missing for me and like exposed bits, which does save weight, that's usually things that I'm gonna like rip off because I'm gonna catch it. This is doing absolutely fine. There is some wear in the exposed outsole pieces, but the AHAR rubber, it stands for Asics High Abrasion Rubber, is doing really well despite me doing a lot of workouts, handling the shoe on a lot of different things. So outsole durability has been really good, and the midsole's holding up well and everything else. If you're looking for a premium neutral trainer that's getting into that maximal stack height, this is another one that's gonna last you a long time for a lot of different miles. Now, this one was a surprise, and I'm gonna be honest that I really liked how they're doing arch support. I didn't like how they were talking about pronation, and I also wasn't super impressed with this shoe initially, but The Mountos P1, which is their stability shoe, has absolutely blown me away with the durability, where I have exactly 100 miles on my pair, and I have not ripped through the outsole at all. There's like barely any wear. And Mountos is known for being really durable, and I said, you know what? I'm going to put these to the test. I didn't find the heel bevel quite as curved as I wanted. I didn't find the light cell midsole to be as bouncy as I wanted for being a PIBA-based mixed PIBA foam, hybrid foam. But what this shoe does really, really well with is really long efforts when you have a shorter stride and you're not trying to like really run fast. It's good for going super long. I've used this for longer runs. I've used it for long days while standing. It's done equally well. The upper is really nice. It took a long time to break in, but it's also very durable. And there is some adjustability that you can make in terms of the upper responds really well to alternative lacing. And the inner part is super comfortable against bare feet, which is really, really nice. But what's crazy to me is, again, midsole has stayed exactly the same. It's not a shoe that you're gonna get a lot of bounce from. It tends to absorb sock really, really well, and it stays like that for a long time. It feels exactly the same as when I first put it on, which is good in some ways, and also I would have hoped to gotten a little bit more bouncy, but it's not for running fast. It's meant for running long distances with a short stride and kind of a nice quick pep off the foot. The outsole, though, again, is insane to me. Like 100 miles, I would have been a little nervous that I would have pulled off this piece here, but this is an example of when you get a lot of good rubber coverage on the outsole, yes, it does add more weight. This is not the lightest shoe. It's coming in my size 10 for 10.2 ounces, or about 288 grams, which isn't the lightest. It's 37 the heel, 27 the forefoot for a 10mm drop. However, the amount of rubber here is worth it if you're going to use this. And this Mountos is meant as an ultra marathon shoe, and they certainly live up to that, where you're not going to be running the fastest, but it will hold up for hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of miles, and it's done that for me. So I'm very impressed. We'll get a 100-mile review soon. But when you get full-length outsole coverage, that typically helps durability, especially on the outsole. And PIBA foams tend to last longer than other ones, so that's also another thing that may help a bit with that. Now, moving on to an insanely popular shoe, and it has every right to be popular. And what's great is a lot of times popular shoes like fall apart really quick or they don't last very long. This shoe not only has the benefit of being like a decently price shoe at like $140, it actually just went up to $150 from what I understand, but the durability is phenomenal. And this is the Asics Nova Blast 5. It's really popular. It deserves to be so. It's got a really, really nice midsole material. It's got FF Max now that took a while to break in, but now it's got a little soft, bouncy feel to it. Not the fastest shoe, but a great trainer and a great shoe for a lot of different people out there. My pair, my size 10, is coming in at 9.2 ounces or about 262 grams. So definitely on the lighter side for a training shoe. It's really good. It's got, again, full length outsole coverage. And while there is some exposed midsole, it's full length here. And then I have 105 miles on this pair. This is, again, is my left one. Not that much abrasion on there despite me being really hard on this left side. And that's the power of really good outsole rubber and full-length coverage. I'm really going to encourage companies try not to break this up because people like me will catch it, and I understand it adds weight, but trying to get the most out of a shoe, this is a great one where, hey, the weight is lower. There's still a good amount of outsole coverage, still a taller stack height, but they still do a really good job of keeping this lighter. I think it's 41 and a half, 33 and a half for an 8mm drop. So still a good amount of stack height, but they got it lighter. So midsole foams are the way to go, and this midsole is lasting a really long time and it's doing great. This outsole is actually slightly different than the Nimbus. It's called HAR Low. It's supposed to be like a lower durometer version of that to keep things soft underfoot, but it actually ends up lasting really long. And so Nova Blast is another very durable shoe, definitely worth your dollar, that I might consider if you're interested in a shoe that might last really, really long. Now, the final one, which was a surprise to me, but I keep crushing miles in this. So this is the Adidas Adios Pro 4. There were some things I really loved about this shoe. I really like how much lighter than it is in the previous versions. Very aggressive in the foam. The new Light Strike Pro, which they call Light Strike Pro, but this is not the same material as previous versions, is insanely bouncy. It's not the most stable, as that midfoot heel kind of narrows a little bit, a lot of lateral bias here, and then I kind of pitched in the midfoot. But super fun shoe, super fast, really one of my top racing shoes of last year, despite it being just a teeny bit heavier than some of the other ones. My pair comes in at 7.7 ounces, or about 228 grams for men's size 10, which is on the lighter side, but not as light as where some other stuff is getting, so they got some work to do. 39 in the heel, 33 in the forefoot for a 6mm drop. This is a great shoe, but what is insane to me is the, I think it's called GCP Gee, I'm gonna mess the name up. But this outsole rubber is insane. I have 120 miles on this. This is my left side. There's no real wear out here. And this is a racing shoe. These are meant to be super light and get like tear off as much as you can. But the Adios Pro 4, not only is the upper doing well, the midsole has lost a little bit of the responsiveness, but the bounce is still there and you can definitely get tons of miles of this. But the outsole is what's blowing me away because I haven't even worn out anything on this outsole, so this thing lasts forever. I also have a pair of the Adios 9, which is the lower stack version that doesn't have the plate or anything, really simple shoe now. And that too, it's the same outsole material. I cannot break it. It is really good. So Adidas, with your racing shoes, you're doing a really, really good job with durability. So, and I'm really excited. I have not tested the Primex Strong 3 yet. I'm really, really curious to see what that looks like. But version 2 was probably another one of my top ones that I didn't bring out. That's an honorable mention. I don't know where I have it, but the Adios, not Pro, the Adios Primex Strong 2 is another alternative one if you want a little bit more guidance because it's actually surprisingly stable. And if you want a little bit more shoe, that one is insanely durable. But the Adidas Zero line has done a great job with durability. I haven't tested the Boston yet, so 13, so don't ask. But it's just lasting a long time. So if you want a racing shoe that you're gonna get a ton of miles out of and not rip through the outsole, and the midsole is gonna hold up well and the upper is gonna do great, Adios Pro 4 is the most durable super shoe out there and is holding up extremely well. And so those are the top 5 shoes out there that are not only going to be extremely durable, but have been comfortable enough that I've been able to get, let's see if I can get these up here, that I've been able to get a ton of miles out of comfortably and not just be like, oh, I got my 30 miles, I'm gonna move on. These are great, they're comfortable, they perform well, and they're really, really worth you considering if you're going, I want a shoe that's gonna not only be comfortable and function well, but also going to be able to last me the miles that I wanna put on this stuff. As always, I wanna know your thoughts and let me know if you agree or disagree with this stuff. Obviously, my gait mechanics are really, really weird. So if you disagree, please let me know in the comments below about what you disagree about. And if you have any other suggestions for people coming, let us know what shoes you found to be not only the best, but also the most durable. Because you can have something that's durable and not comfortable, but we want the combination of good functioning shoe, worth $1, and gonna be able to last. As always, really appreciate you watching this stuff. Hope this helps, and I hope this information keeps you healthy because our goal is to help you find the shoes that are gonna work best for you, not to influence you, but to help educate you, and hope this keeps you healthy and keeps you moving and you enjoy the content.